Last night, I watched Superman. This movie's been controversial from the day it was announced, whether it's because you're a big fan of a certain other take on Superman and didn't want to see him go, or because the CGI looked a bit wonky, or because James Gunn says the immigrant alien was an immigrant. Well, right off the bat, if you're avoiding this movie because of a fear it might be quote-unquote woke or whatever, first of all, grow a spine and stop being offended by movies. Second of all, the entire message of this movie is do nice things and be a good person. Yes, parts of its plot are inspired by real-world political events, but it genuinely does not make any meaningful political arguments at all. Besides, I guess invading countries and ruthlessly killing everyone is bad, which is something I hope we can all agree on. Now that all that's out of the way, what did I think about this movie? I think you should see it for yourself and form your own opinion, so I'm gonna try to keep this as spoiler-free as possible, but I thought it was pretty good. Is it the best CBM of all time? No, but I pretty much expected that. Whenever a new one comes out that gets a lot of traction and attention online, people immediately jump to saying it's the best comic book movie ever. I saw it with No Way Home, and The Batman, and Deadpool and Wolverine, and even as recent as Thunderbolts. I just think that in the current online climate, people tend to speak in extremes, where something's either the greatest gift to cinema or the worst movie of all time. I think Superman's just a pretty fun time. First of all, I thought the action was pretty good. I'm a simple person. I like seeing bad guys get beaten up, and there's a lot of it here. The fight scene cinematography is good. The camera was dynamic, but not too much to the point where I couldn't see what was going on, and even though it only happened like twice, James Gunn's patented needle drop action scenes were pretty good as always. The CGI was very hit or miss. Sometimes it looked amazing, like most of the scenes with Krypto, but other times it looked very wonky, especially the final fight. The flying scenes where you stare at his face still look kinda silly, but they take up a collective like minute of screen time, so it really doesn't matter. Character-wise, I thought for the most part it was pretty good. Superman himself was well cast and fun to watch. Corn Sweat did a good job, and I really enjoy seeing this new take on the character. I do wish we got to see more of Clark though, because he's in costume for maybe like 70% of the movie. The Daily Planet employees were alright. Honestly, besides Jimmy and Lois, most of them barely appeared and got very little development, but I thought they were fun. Lois and Superman spend like half of their scenes in each other's mouths, which me and my friend that I saw this with thought was really funny, but they were pretty cute and had good chemistry together. Ma and Pa Kent were really endearing and were a definite highlight of the film, especially Pa. That was just really sweet. Krypto was actually a lot less annoying than I thought he'd be. Sure, he gets a lot of screen time, he's essentially a side character, but he never overstays his welcome. This isn't a Superman and Krypto movie. The Justice Gang were fun additions too. Green Lantern wasn't as annoying as the marketing would have you think, and his powers were used in pretty funny ways. Mr. Terrific was fantastic, and definitely got the most spotlight out of all of them, and was entertaining to watch as well. You got a pretty well shot action scene and had a good dynamic with Superman and Lois. Hawkgirl was definitely there. She was the most underused by far. She does one thing at the end, but besides that, she kind of just flies around and screams while the others do their thing. The villains were all around pretty good too. The Engineer's powers were shown really well and look so cool. There's one scene in the film where she attacks Superman in a very specific way that if it wasn't for his quick thinking, definitely would have killed him, and it made for a pretty tense scene. Ultraman was cool, though for most of the movie he's just strong punching guy and doesn't get much time to shine until the final act. And the Hammer of Barabia is used very sparingly, but when he's on screen it's fun. The star of the show is definitely Lex though. His pure hatred of Superman and the lengths he goes just to defame him are hilarious, and he's just straight up evil. No justification, no secret admirable goal, just a terrible human being for the sake of it. The facial expressions that Nicholas Hoult makes in this movie alone deserve an award. I will say though, this movie is very stuffed. There's still more characters in it that I haven't mentioned, but there's like 5 different groups of people that we follow, 6 different subplots, and so much lore and exposition stuff that sometimes it gets to be a bit much. This feels like multiple movies in one. Mild, vague spoilers about Metamorpho, but his part in the movie genuinely feels like the finale to another movie that was happening alongside this one, but the film just keeps on going. Also, like I said before, I really wish we saw more Clark. This is very much the Batman situation where he's barely his normal guy alter ego and just Superman most of the time, which I know most people will be fine with, but I don't know, I wanted to see a bit more Clark. So yeah, besides feeling a bit overstuffed with some characters being thrown to the wayside and a bit too exposition heavy, I liked Superman. Again, not the greatest comic book movie ever. A lot of the actual best comic book movies ever have some sort of X factor that makes them unique or stand out, and this movie is just a good fun time, with the only thing that sets it apart I guess is having a lot of the source material in it, and I mean a lot. But it's good. I'd give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. Stay for the post credits if you want, but it's quite literally the same hype level as the credits for the Super Mario Bros. Movie, so take that as you will. Until next time, true believers. Wait, wrong company.